Erika, welcome to SEO Gurus. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem at all. So look, super interested to dive deep into link building and everything in the world of link building. But get us started with linkbuilder.io. Like, what do you guys do and how do you guys do it?
Yeah, well, Link Builder, we offer link building services for like different niches clients. So we can do for product pages, link building for product pages, link building for informative content. Basically, we have the client, we evaluate what niche they are in, we see what like power strengths they have like in link building, maybe some assets. We can offer creation of link building assets to them, just something like this. And then we start outreach. Again, based on the client, some clients want for outreach to be done like on their behalf because they want to be part of this. Some clients prefer to stay hidden, so to say, and then we use persona for outreach. So we do all of that. We can customize the whole outreach process for different types of clients. And no matter the niche, we have like everything from general business e-commerce to some industrial building construction or automotive or something like this. So very wide scope of things we do at Link Builder.
You mentioned something there, link building assets. What's a link building asset?
I mean, the piece of content or like the page on the website that you can use to attract a big number of links to your website. Specifically, it works very well for like resource pages, campaigns, sometimes for broken links. For example, if you do your research and if you find a broken link on a specific topic and it fits well for your client's niche, you just ask the client to create a better page with better content, some nice visuals and so on. And then you will do the broken link building campaign basically by reaching out to websites who link to the old page, broken one, and asking them to just change it because no one likes broken links, right? So you want just to get rid of them, maybe change it to something else. So this is the link building asset, like the type of content that can naturally attract links. And even after link building is done, the whole campaign is done, it may attract content even like sometime while after and so on, because it's usually evergreen, basically some sorts of statistics, deep guides, and something like this.
Okay, super interesting. And so the link building landscape right now, Erika, is pretty, it only gets more difficult, right, as time progresses. So what is link building? What's the difficulty of link building in 2024? And why is it a more difficult landscape than 10 years ago?
Well, that's a very good question, actually. Yeah, it does more difficult to get good links. You have to put more effort into getting the same link. And basically, as Google says, it's also very aligned with their guidelines that you have to strive at the best content quality just to provide the best information to your users and so on. The same goes with links. If you work on link insertion, like in some article, let's say you write a guest post for a website, you want to make sure that this is relevant, definitely that this is like authoritative, that the website is linking to some good resource and so on. And actually what also is important, like compared to 10 years ago, the number of content, the density of content, so to say, on different topics was not that high as it is now. So, for example, if you're working on like guest posts on like business topics, let's say business strategy or something like this, if you reach out to the website and they have already written like 5 articles on business strategy topics, and you are writing one more on the same topic, basically just different kind of title and so on, it may not work. Now Google wants more depth, more like genuine content and so on. So now you have to spend your time generating better topics that you want to offer to the websites. You really want to find some interesting angles. You really want to find something new, provide some unique perspective and so on. The same goes for anchor text. It was like easy. By anchor text, I mean like how you include those links into the articles you're writing. So if it was just like generally easy just to include buy this something in some place, a keyword 10 years ago, it may work. But after people started basically using this type of method, when Google says that like there are like all of the keywords are the same, like real estate agent in this city, and they are not really relevant to the very topic of the article, well, this is a red flag, and it starts like just cutting those links and so on. So now you have to get creative about the anchor text, combine it with the keyword you want to rank for as well. Just try to find the relevant context. So first it starts with the topic, then you have your specific page you want to build link to, You have to think about the paragraph you want to include it in, and you have to think about the anchor text. How is it going to be relevant to your keyword you're trying to insert and that sort of thing. So basically it requires just more resources, more analyzing, more time, more effort.
And have you seen Google's policy around links change once? You mentioned them there. So you say, generally speaking, it is just harder because you need to be a lot more precise. Like every little part of the process, the anchor text, the other pages on that website, the other links on that website already, etc. All of that just needs to be way more refined, right? But that's, I guess, from just your overall understanding and time in the space and all the work that you do, right? Has Google said anything specifically about this, or is this all just reverse engineered?
This is reverse engineered. I've checked their guidelines and what they are, if it was recent March update, core update, I've checked what they've been writing in their forums and so on, guides. So basically what they say about spam policy, this is what relevant for link builder specifically, is that they just trying to get better at seeing how people manipulate rankings. And basically manipulation is overusing the same keywords, right? So if you basically from the Google side, if you just try to build links to the same page and you use one and the same keyword for 10 links, it's a red flag. So this is very technical. You can approach this from technical side of things as well. Just add variation, add some more context, use synonyms and so on. But basically, this was they say, try to avoid manipulation. If they see a sign of selling links, and definitely if the website has a very open way of saying we sell links or something like this is a bad sign for Google as well. Also, they check how many outgoing links the website has. If they are building links in every fresh article on their blog, and if it's under some, you can see paid keywords, so to say, buy here, register here, and so on. This is also a sign, as Google analyzes all of this. So this is based on their guidelines they give.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So help me get into the strategies of link building here, Erika. So guest posting is the way that most people know link building, right? You go to another website and you say, hey, you're a website about cars. I have a product around cars. I have a unique thing about cars. Let me write an article for your website. All I ask is that you link me at the bottom, right? That's the standard way to do it. Why is that method outdated or difficult?
Well, I don't think it's outdated. It's still very actively used. However, since I started working in link building, I read this article about death of guest posting. This year, guest posting is going to be dead. No more guest posting and so on. It's been all the time here. But the guest posting in an old way when you just randomly reaching out to websites saying, hey, I want to write an article. Please add a link for me. Mentioning a link in your email is already a bad idea because it's natural if your content is good, if your guest post is really good one, they will allow this link because it will be most likely natural. It will provide some useful insights for the readers. So there is nothing wrong about this link, basically. And if you have to ask for it, you have to tell them, hey, I'm going to include this link. Well, this may mean that they should be aware of this link, basically. So the guest posting is still major, I think, my favorite method of building links, but it's just more about reaching out to the right people and providing very good topic suggestions and also writing very deep content and finding those connections, sometimes providing value to them as well. Not everyone wants just to publish your guest post right now just because you reach out to them. They want some value in return. Some people want a link from some other website. And this is when these ABC link exchanges or three-way exchanges come into play because you can actually help someone with a link in some of your future guest posts, and this gives them additional, so to say, motivation to publish your guest post as well. So it's all based on reciprocity. You do something for me, I will recommend you on LinkedIn, maybe I'll share something on social media. So lots of this stuff is really important.
You mentioned ABC link exchanges there. Can you tell me about that a bit more? What does that mean?
Yeah, of course. So basically the ABC link exchanges as a strategy that means indirect exchange of links. So for example, if we have website A and website B, we are not exchanging links just from website A to B and B to A. What we are going to do, website A will get a link to website B from a website C. Basically, that's the idea. And in return, website B will get a link to website A. That's the very simple form of this. ABC link exchanges is probably the most difficult strategy because it's very difficult to keep track of it and organize everything. It really takes a lot of time because it's based on networking. It's based on like your outreach efforts. For example, right now I'm writing a guest post for some website, and I know someone who I could mention in this guest post. I have to reach out to them. I have to offer them that link, basically ask them that if they're okay with this, if they would like a link there. Then it gets published. And only after the link is published, I can ask for something in return. Basically, this is how it works. And it's like you go down the rabbit hole and you have to try to keep track of all of these things. It's time consuming and it requires very proactive team, basically. If like we're talking about small link building team, like up to 5 people, ABC exchanges might not be the best solution for you at the moment because it's for when you have different choice of like topics, when you have time to work on this. But for bigger teams, this is something to work on, something to try.
What's the advantage of that versus just doing a simple A/B link exchange?
Google is against, it's actually mentioned in their policies that you shouldn't be doing like just directly exchanging links with all of the websites. If they link to you and if you link to them, if they notice a pattern, this may be a sign of manipulation. But again, it depends, because if we are talking about big websites, it's normal that they just link to each other, they mention each other. I would say this is more important and you should be more careful when you just start your link building outreach efforts, because if you're a small website and you have like 100 backlinks, and you link to the same, let's say even 70 domains from your website, now this can be considered as a pattern because that's a very big match. If this is a very big website and you have lots of backlinks and you link to some of them, it's normal again, because this is just a normal part of collaboration, just mentioning each other as well. But again, it's kind of up to you to identify this like line and this balance between overusing, manipulating, and actually keeping it natural.
Super interesting. So if I could explain that again, let's say there's 2 parties, right? There's party A and there's party B. Party A gives a link to B directly, but then the return link doesn't come from B itself. It comes through a third party, C.
Yeah, that's correct.
Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you make sure there's not actually a strict exchange. A gave a link to B and C gave a link to A. But the way that you described that was, if I'm writing a post for A, I can link C and then say C give a link to me, which is B, right? Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, that's basically how it works.
Okay. Oh, really interesting. And that's how you can get around this exchange of links.
Yeah.
Being anywhere like,
like we have a big process of this, and it's mostly, the thing is that these ABC exchanges, people do this when they just do natural link building. So you do not work with people who sell links. And as a result, when websites do like natural link building, organic and so on, they really care about the quality of links they get. So they will want to review what they will get. They will want to see like if they are getting some quality from this, and the same is from you. That's why it's just complicated, because it's not just a link to whatever I want and you do the same and you'll get me link in exchange. Basically, you have to be careful. You have to talk to a lot of people. That's a lot of communication involved, like email threads and so on. What do you think of this topic? I think your article on specific topic would be a good fit here. What do you think? And so on. So lots of back and forth with ABC exchanges.
A lot of strategy and actually looking at you're fighting for every single link in that case.
Yeah, kind of. But practice shows that you can get links that sometimes you cannot get from just guest post outreach, for example. All your outreach efforts are not 100% successful. Some people do not notice you, right? And you just don't have opportunity to contribute to specific websites, while others might get their attention. And this is how you just help each other, basically. If you get an opportunity to have a guest post on this article, why not include your friend in it as well, who may include you in some other guest post of them in the future?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But the relevancy of who you're posting and where is really important there, right? Talk a little bit about researching where you should even get posted in the first place, Erika. Like, I don't want to just get mentioned on every random website, right? I want to be very specific about where my backlinks are showing up. How do you go about even doing that research? Because like, I don't want to be on my competitor's website, nor do they want me on theirs. So how do I find people in my niche that kind of still works with?
That's a very good one. And it's like, you can't imagine how many emails we receive. Like, even for my email, I get lots of pitches, and they may be from so many random websites that I see they haven't vetted for for the niche. Basically, they are just throwing us into some email automation tool, and that's it. So yeah, the good rule is to start with your keywords, the keywords you're trying to rank for, and do analysis. Like, for example, what is the broader niche, or what are some other narrow keywords you can rank for? If you are, let's say, in employee satisfaction niche, for example, this is your business, so you may want to try to find websites that have written on topic like employee appreciation and so on. But after you have like this big list, so basically my suggestion, like, first you start with like general search, just putting a keyword that seems relevant to you, just based on your own judgment. You just add it. You can add it to Google, or we use Ahrefs Content Explorer for this as well, because you can filter by DR, minimum traffic, and so on, that sort of thing. You get a big list of websites, and the next step is actually vet them, to inspect every one of them. And this is like what we do at Link Builder. We just open every website and we just see what content they cover. Are they our competitors? It's very useful to add competitors to the blacklist of the project you are working on. Like in your outreach tool, usually they have like blacklists available, and it's very useful just to add them in advance to avoid reaching out to competitors by accident, because it doesn't look good generally if you reach out to competitor.
Hey, if you're still listening to this, you probably find this conversation interesting, and that means that others might too. So the best way you can support this podcast for free is to leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this show. This helps the podcast more than I could say. It means other SEOs can learn and get access to our amazing guests, and that will mean the world to me. All right, with that being said, back to the episode.
So yeah, and then the next one, like filtering by DRs and traffic, it seems the easy and so on. However, digging deeper is very much required, because recently I've seen websites who, like, from the first side, they have like DR 50, lots of traffic, like 5,000, 10,000, forever. And then I go to organic keywords, and what I see is them ranking for like random barcodes, or just some random stuff, like random words. And this is how they manipulate Ahrefs, basically. This is how they manipulate this sort of thing. It's very interesting. You have to actually check the organic keywords. I highly recommend this. Look into this. If they are ranking for really relevant stuff. Also, if they are not ranking for random words, they may actually rank for not relevant keywords. Some websites I saw recently as well, this will be like general business type of website. It was supposed to be like in general an informative business website and that sort of thing. And they would rank for some like stars names or something like this, like weird stuff. It's not relevant at all. You don't want to link from there, basically. The backlinks profile also matter, because like if you just quickly check it, and I've tested this kind of backlink building strategy with my own website, sandbox project kind of thing. And basically you can see if the website is manipulating the backlinks and their DR as a result. If they get lots of links with high DR, but like the very URLs are very long URLs with lots of numbers, with whatever, something weird going on. If it's like not topic, blog post, if it's something that just immediately looks very spammy, it means this is not a good thing. They are manipulating stuff. So, and this manipulation, it actually works because it gives them traffic. And for example, in this case, with what I've tried, I wanted to see how it works. So as I say, I had like a sandbox project website. I added some content on it, basically just wanted to see how it would rank. And it got, I think it was like DR10 or something after some basic outreach and so on. And then I went to Fiverr, and at Fiverr you can get those you can get like for $50, you order a DR. you don't order the number of backlinks, you actually order the DR you want. That's the real service. Like they can get you DR 40, DR 50, DR 80. It's really fun. And I tried like DR 40 and I actually got like lots of things, like these random links got to that website. DR spiked after like few weeks to DR 40 or something. And then it had the most massive hit ever, like after half a year or so. Yeah, it's manipulating backlinks, organic keywords, and so on is a really bad idea if you want to play long-term game, basically. So
yeah, I was going to say, because what's the point in getting a lot of backlinks that aren't relevant or even ranking for keywords that aren't relevant? Because at the end of the day, unless you're trying to scam someone for money on their DR, your DR means nothing if you don't get the traffic accordingly. In fact, I mean, we were working with a client where we don't work with a client. We had one of our own assets, which has a DR of 40, 50. It's ranking really high, but we just aren't getting the traffic that we expect. We looked into it a little bit. It looks like the pay-per-click was kind of dominating those keywords. And then even though we were ranking really high, we just weren't getting the thing. So we just said, okay, we shut this one down and we work on a different one, right? Because the keyword isn't working. So you mentioned like all these other websites that have these really high DRs. They have all these random links or keywords that they're ranking for. But why? Why are these websites doing these if it's not leading to traffic for what they're trying to be noticed for?
Mostly these type of websites, they would do this because they sell links. So it is kind of aimed at people, link builders, who are not digging deeper, who are just providing links for their clients based on DR and traffic without getting into details, without checking the actual traffic. And not all clients are link building gurus, right? Or SEO gurus. They may need to know, they may not know what's going on. They may get like DR good, like DR good looking DR websites, DR 50 and so on. But basically this is a scam, unfortunately. And lots of websites, they do this just to basically attract attention because they know right now we are using filters, minimum DR and minimum traffic and Ahrefs, for example, to prospect for lists. And basically, this is why when it comes to link building, my favorite websites to work with are actually SaaS companies, those who have their own services, those who earn money from something that is not links. This is very important, like signal for you to work with this website. If the website doesn't have any service, if they are not selling anything, this is not like online seller or something like this, check it like 3 times, check it 5 times, because there is a chance they are earning from just selling links. And they may do this in like unfaithful ways. Basically, they may want to try to manipulate traffic just to get those quick income. Again, it's not long term because eventually people will stop using them, but there are like big networks of such websites and they are constantly working. That's a whole business. So basically we have to be aware of that as well. Okay, so it's largely websites that are just trying to get a high DR or DA because they are looking to sell links from that asset later. Because otherwise they're not getting the traffic to sell something on the page, right? Kind of,
That's not going to be the case at all. Awesome. So you mentioned there, in terms of outreach, that you love going after SaaS companies or companies that have no business in selling links at all, right? So tell me a little bit about that. So, because, I mean, one of the things I had noticed from your website and from the discussions that we've been having, Erika, is that a big part of getting links, at least in the way that you guys do it, is in the outreach itself, right? So tell us a little bit about what makes great outreach and how do you actually formulate a strategy to get links?
Yeah, of course. So, well, first of all, you start with prospecting. As we've discussed, you want to have a list of websites under a specific topic. And let's say if it's like employee engagement or something like this, great is that you have a list of websites who has covered this topic before, but they are not your direct competitor, basically. So you have this as a starting point. The next one would be finding the best contacts, like in personalization stage, basically finding the best contacts, who to reach out to. Here, it usually works well to reach out to the editor if they have it, or someone from the media team, someone from like someone who should be responsible for content, maybe blog editor and so on. Checking on LinkedIn really helps. It really impacts the general response rate, because if you're reaching out just to support emails, especially with SaaS, you most likely will get just automated replies that, hey, your ticket has been created and so on. So you have to find someone who is not like in their own system with ticket creation and so on, like support system. So yeah, that's the first step, finding the right contact. Super important to know who to reach out to. And then the outreach, the very subject line. That's the first, like the email template starts with your subject line. And if they have a blog, if they've hosted a few guest posts, and if they have like decent traffic, organic keywords are okay, and so on, it means that they are already getting like tons of guest posting offers. That's like the most important thing. You have to understand this. So you have to stand out. You have to attract their attention. You have to try. And the worst thing you can do here with email subject line is actually being vague, like reaching out with the email subject line, like collaboration offer and just question mark. And that's it, like not mentioning who you are or who you reach out to. I've also been listening to some interviews with journalists who actually get pitches on a regular basis from different companies, journalists who write like for Forbes and New York Times and so on. I like listening to them. They share very valuable pieces of advice. And they always tell that you should be very straightforward in your subject line. Like if this is guest post page, write guest post page for this website on specific topic. You can use like topic as well in this one. Like, for example, employee satisfaction ideas, guest post for something for like a website. So basically trying to be precise is very important, and trying to fill the whole offer into this subject line, because, well, everyone is busy, everyone gets lots of emails. So yeah, you have to attract their attention. And after they open this email, like if you're lucky and they open your email, basically, this is also about sharing some valuable insights. You want to actually ensure that in your email, they're just not wasting time. That if you have a guest post offer, tell them a few topics, like tell them what you're going to write about, like spend some time on these email templates, do some research. It's actually interesting that usually people say that you have to like be concise, you have to write short emails with your offer and so on. But if we are talking about guest posts, sometimes it's very important to have them the idea of what you're going to write about. Basically, I remember what I've done before. I even included like topic, and then I added some statistics I use Google Scholar to find something like this. Just according to like some research, this is very important, blah, blah, blah. And you explain why this would be very useful for them. This was a very long email basically. And it worked well because people would just reply with, hey, yeah, I really like this one. It actually aligns with what we want to write and so on. So yeah, like getting their attention and so on. It's also important to have an idea of your persona, who you do outreach from. Like if this is a client, like serious legal client, maybe perhaps it's not the best idea to use like jokes in introduction or something like this. You have to keep in mind the persona you are using for outreach as well, because there are lots of recommendations like, hey, try to use a joke and so on, something like this. Add personalization. I once added personalization. I remember it was a few years ago. It was in spring, and I sent them like an intro line saying that hope this spring is keeping you warm or something like this. And someone replied to me from a region where there is like literally no spring or summer. And they told me it's very cold here, so I know you're not here, and something like this. So yeah, personalization can be tricky as well. So yeah, you have to kind of be careful with that. Try to use something that's evergreen and ideally will work for everyone.
I can imagine. So that's really interesting. So your strategy is just be very clear from the subject line, right? Because look, anyone that's done anything in content or SEO knows that their inbox gets flooded with requests for backlinks. That's just everyone, right? What you're saying is that the way to get through that is just be very clear and don't waste their time.
Yeah.
Right? Just be clear. Look, this is not me trying a scam to get you to open my email and then eventually try to sell you a guest post. It's from the start. If you're interested in a guest post, here's a great topic that I think would be good for you specifically. I've done my research. I know this is going to be relevant for you and it's relevant for us, and this is going to be mutually beneficial. Is that right?
Yeah, totally. Sometimes sometimes it's also good to like test different things. So for example, if you want to see a joke, you want to try a joke, maybe for specific seasons like Christmas, something like this, Thanksgiving, Easter, you may include it in your subject line, but do this as a trial run, basically. One of the
A/B test.
Yeah, kind of. For example, once I had, it was an interesting experiment. I found a broken link. It was a very big, nice broken link, but the client didn't want to create a content for the broken link. They just didn't want to put up new content on their website. It was not among their priorities. And I still wanted to use this broken link because the backlinks profile of that broken link was perfect for the client I was working for, basically. And what I've done, I actually use this broken link as a bait in subject line. And this is how I've done it. So I collected the list of all websites that link to the broken link. Like I found their emails and so on. And in the subject line, I mentioned broken link on your website. And when they opened this email, I told them that, hey, you actually have a broken link here. I know no one likes them. You might want to get rid of it. And actually, I also write articles. I would like to write a guest post. I may write on the same topic of the broken link was covering, or I see something useful I can provide. Like basically, I grab their attention with a broken link, and then I use this to introduce myself as a writer. Like by myself, I mean the persona I use for outreach. So if you see something interesting and you cannot use it due to like limitations, time limitations, client limitations, something like this, try to kind of test it out, try to do some creative things with it. Sometimes it works. Because in case with this campaign, it worked really well because people replied to broken link and they like the idea of a guest post as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's a good idea. So I like this broken link strategy because indeed people, not just informing people that they have a broken link, but giving them a suggestion for this is what you can replace the link with. But finding broken links can't be easy, right? You got to do a lot of scraping and a lot of checking to find those in the first place, right?
Exactly.
So it really is a full-time job.
Yeah, kind of. That's why broken links cannot be your like priority strategy. It's very tough to find a very good one. Like there are methods, like you can always try to look for broken links in like statistics, something like this. This is like the easiest way because there are like old research, something like this, but not always they will be broken. You may find some old, outdated statistics, and this might be a good idea to use for so-called like outdated content outreach. Maybe you found an outdated piece of content and you see lots of people are linking to it and now something has changed. Like, for example, this is an article about AI before AI, basically statistics. And now everything has changed, right? And lots of fresh insights and so on. Let's say you have a nice visual on this, like nice link building asset, as we call it. You can find some old article covering that with lots of backlinks and reach out to them, offering either to replace like the outdated content link, or you can offer them like a whole new topic about AI, for example. So yeah, you can use it like in different ways.
Erika, thank you so much. Give me one, if you had to summarize everything we've talked about, Erika, because you've given a lot of them, what would be the number one mistake that people make when it comes to link building?
Okay, that's a good one. Well, I would say that the biggest mistake is assuming that everyone has time for your link. And I'll share with you just two examples and then get to the point. So basically, let's imagine you're doing this ABC exchange. And let's imagine you have an opportunity to include someone's link on a website. This is your partner. You are reaching out to them with an offer of a link insertion. And the first email, like let's say this is one email, you say to them, hey, how is it going? I actually have this opportunity. I can link to you from this website. Let me know if you like any link from them. And that's it. And there is another email. You reach out to them. You say, hey, how is it going? So on. I actually have an opportunity to link to this website. I'm writing a guest post on this topic. And I think I can link to your blog post on this topic. It will be under this anchor text. You have provided to them so many details. You can also include like DR and traffic of that website. And now imagine the person receiving this email. In first case, they will see this email. In one book I've read, if the task takes like, if it's going to take like more than 2 minutes, it's becoming a task and it's go into to-do list. It's going to to-do list directly. So if the response to this email requires more than 2 minutes of their time, it's going to be like snoozed, checked later. And this means delays on your side as well, because you have to follow up. You have to make them think. You want people just to say, yes, I love this link. Let's go for it. And you have this opportunity. In the first case, they have to check the website. They have to check what's the article. They have to think about the anchor tag. So yeah, basically it's just assuming that everyone will do this. If you're trying to make their life easy, they will gladly collaborate with you.
Amazing. That sounds like great advice indeed. Erika, thank you so much for coming on the show. If people want to find out more about the services you guys offer, where should they go?
You can always visit linkbuilder.io. We have everything on our website, case studies, prices, and so on. You can book a consultation online and so on. So yeah, thank you very much for having me. It was fun.
I'm glad. That's the best compliment a podcast host can get. So that's great. Thank you very much, Erika.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Hey, thank you so much for making it to the end. For more content updates, visit our website at ghapodcast.com and don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn for more tips and insights on SEO. See you in the next episode.